All right, we're working on this. Sure. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We have to figure out the fuel air mixtures, which I told you guys in the last part, and we have to do timing. And to make all that work, I need to first start with charging said battery right there. Yesterday I just tried, and I didn't do too much in the way of timing. I just did a little bit with the carburetor work and stuff like that. Nothing really seemed to have an effect. It would idle, and if you hit any gas or anything, it would just bog down to try to die. Sometimes it would throw a pretty good flame out the carburetor. But that's all I got for right now. I'm gonna get this battery up to the shop and charge it for a few hours, and come back and start messing with timing and stuff like that. All right, back to working on this truck. I did some thinking, me and Dad, and when we were running this, it didn't seem too much out of time, more so like a fuel air mixture problem. But everything was getting super hot, and I was feeling this coil here, and it was getting pretty warm. And I said that I wasn't going to mess with this. Now, this is a ballast resistor, and it is responsible for controlling the amount of power that goes from there, where that new one is, the coil, or however it works. I'm not really 100% sure. I just know that it is what keeps everything from getting overpowered or underpowered or whatever it's going to do. So I got a new ballast resistor, and it's supposed to bolt up right here to that master cylinder for the brakes. Now, I just have it hooked up the way it is, because if it starts smoking or anything like that, I can just tear it off real fast and shut it down. But hopefully that is the problem, and the reason that it was dying was because the coil would get too hot and it would just shut everything down and not work like it's supposed to. But if not, and it still gives me the same problem, I'm going to take the distributor out, like I said, retime it, everything, and make sure all these plug wires are right. And then I'm going to start getting into some carburetor issues that could potentially be the problem. But for now, I just have this hooked up. I'm going to give it a start and see what happens. And hopefully this thing's going to kick up and not die instantly. So that should be good. Anyways, let me get this thing turned over, see what happens. Before I get too carried away, I need to hook up this battery real quick. Now, I'm not tightening it all the way down or anything special. I'm just putting it on there. So now that we got that hooked up, I charged this a few days ago. It should be fine. Another concern besides this, even though this is more of a matter, I had this alternator test and it tested good, but it's still not charging, so it could be here or here, I'm thinking. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Anyways, let's get in the truck and get this thing started up real quick. Hopefully it should turn over and act pretty decent. Pump or so. Here we go. Nothing. Okay, back to the battery. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back again. Let's see if we can get anything now. Gauge moved. Let's see what happens when I try the key. Nothing. Alright. Nothing. Alright, let's see what the battery has to tell us. Now, I just tested this, and it's supposed to be at 14 volts. We're going to see what happens under load. So I'm going to take this multimeter here. Put it in here. Put it in there. Now what we're going to do, turn this thing on. 13. I'm going to lay it over here so I can see it when we start. Now these should be tight. that negative is good. I'm worried that that's going to be a big problem, but we'll see what this tells us. Alright. Now keep your eye on that right there. Okay? Now I'm going to turn this over. And it might drop. We'll see. No drop. Okay, we have some sort of wiring problem. Let's go see. Alright. I've done a little looking around. I'm pretty sure I found the cause of the problem. Down here, there's this little steel me switch thingy. I forget the name of it, but that's what I'm going to call it for now. There's a piece, let me show you with this negative cable. There's a piece that's supposed to connect right there, which in turn connects to this orange wire. And it broke off. Now, I didn't give it much thought because I was going to get a new one. I haven't done it yet. But I went ahead and tested if there's power to this orange cable. So what I did is I put this negative lead on the negative post of the battery because I know I have a good ground, and a positive end on this orange cable. Now, when you come over here and you just look at it, you're not going to get power. See how it says 0? But the real thing that you need to know here is when you turn the key on. Because if you turn the key on and there's no power, something's failing. Now watch this. See how that went straight to 13? What's happening is it's sending power to on startup to that, but it's not going to where it needs to be. So what we're going to have to do is order another one of them parts right there, and this video is going to have to wait a little bit. What I might do is I might just put this video up just to try to get some more out there. I'll go ahead and put this video up, and then we'll wait on that part. It should be like a day or so, and then we'll get back into it. But hopefully that is the small thing that's easy to fix. It's just take off, put one right back on it, mount those few wires back up, and it's good to go. And the good news is, once I fix that, if it's still not charging, it's more than likely this year. But other than that, this video should be coming out. Well, you'll see it then, but hopefully in like around a day. Give it a good solid day for me to put it out. But once this is, I should order this today. I should be calling just as soon as I get inside. So hopefully this will take just a day or two, and I'll have this part, and then I'll have another video coming out after that. But that's about all I can do right now. Unfortunately, this ballast resistor was changed. The coil wires and everything was changed and all that stuff. We all know that. But once this is fixed, it should start up. And I'm hoping that ballast resistor fixes the problem. But stay tuned for the next part. We'll see what's going to happen. Your guess is as good as mine. I appreciate you guys for watching. And have a great day. This thing should be running soon. Well, I lied. It's not the end. I thought it was going to be. But next day or so, Cat's here. Part's in. So let's get down here and I'll show you guys the part numbers off these boxes. I bought this red box from O'Reilly's and the blue one from Advance, I think. Anyways, made in, who knows, somewhere China. But anyways, this is for that part that I told you about the other day that I can't remember the name to. What does this say this is? Something. You guys remember. I don't. That's kind of sad. Resistor, ballast resistor. See? I remembered. Anyways, that's it. From Advance. Here's the part that went bad, which sits right here. And I was right. That was the ignition. See that I right here? Ignition, battery, ground, solenoid, stuff like that. And then it gives you a little diagram right here, if you guys really wanted to see something like that. Why are you look so bad? Sure. Anyways, here's the O'Reilly's part stuff for this. anyways, I'm going to change this real quick. I probably won't be able to start and run it. I have drill this weekend, so I can't really get into all that. I want to save that for a whole video because after I get back from drill, I want to be able to drive this thing around. I want to be able to show you guys everything, drive it up and down the road. Just have a good time with it. Good Lord, this gas can doesn't look... Why do they make them like this? This shouldn't be... Stop it. Stop that. Anyways, I'm going to get this changed out real quick. Attempt to turn it over, and that's really about it for this video. But after drill this weekend, probably Monday, you guys will probably see it later on in the week, but I'm going to get this thing hopefully started and actually drive. I have to air up this tire here and just give that one a skosh. Just a bit of air, alright? And hopefully drive it around. I know I've been saying it over and over again. I'm just excited, alright? Can't leave this trash on the ground. I'm excited. I hope you guys are. Let me get this part on here real quick. Actually, I can show you where these wires are going. Okay, so you have your main positive, obviously, that goes down here to the battery. And you have another that goes down to the starter. And then another wire that comes from here to the starter, which would be... So it would set like this, right? Your main battery wire, your starter connects here, and then you have your ignition, which would be this orange wire that I tested the other day, and then a ground, but it'll be already grounded, so that's how that's going to lay out. Other than that, everything should work fine. Let's get to it. Yeah, let's get some tools and change this out. Should be relatively simple. 2 bolts hold this on there, maybe bolts, screws, something like that. 2 screws, and then we're just gonna plug and play. So alright, I'll be back when it's done. Alright, here's in between changing them. This is the old one. See the problem here? See how it's broke off right there? Yeah, perfect. Anyways, old one compared to the new one, looks so much better. Anyways, here's the tools that I use. Relatively simple. We got, what is this? 9/16. Perfect. We have a 3/8 with an extension and a 1/4. For all you crazies, that is a 1/4. Anyways, that's all you should need for this. It's fairly simple. You take 2 screws off, pops this out, and you can take everything else off and just put them right back on. There's a few wires down there. Just pay attention to what you're working with. All of y'all should be different, but here's mine. Obviously, main power wire, your starter wire, and then another wire that goes into the harness right here. And then you have the wire that connects into the side, which would connect right here. And then you have your ignition wire, which was the problem wire, so we know where that is. And then the ground that isn't there. But there's also this wire for mine that somebody's like spliced in and done a bunch of crazy stuff with. So I'm gonna do the right thing and put it back in there because it worked. And if it works, you know, do you really need to fix it? I don't know. So I'm gonna put it back together real quick and then see if it starts, and if it doesn't, we'll do some more troubleshooting, but it should. So we'll get to that when we get to it, and I'll show you guys along the way. Alright, new one's on there. There was one difference between the old and new, and that difference was the size of this here. But it really doesn't matter as long as you got a screwdriver or a size up from the 1/4, you'll be okay. I did this with relatively simple stuff. I just used this, and that. So if you got something along the lines of that right there, you should be fine, if not even less. So I'm gonna take you guys around the side here and see if it starts. It should. If not, I bet you that there's gonna be a problem with this ground here, and we can fix that really quick. But it should start right up. There's no difference. So without further ado, I guess let's see if it'll start. If it does, well, it probably won't start with that not on there. If it does, I'm only going to run it for a second because I want to save as much of this little amount of fuel that I have in here because I want to, you know, drive it after drill. So let's go ahead and get in here and see if this thing will start. Don't mind the floor, you know, it's there. If I was 40 plus years old and made out of metal, I'd look like that too. I also can't count. So anyways, let's get this turned over and see what we got. Pedal key. Did it do anything? It did something perfect. Nothing. Okay. So let's see about this ground real quick. What we could do is make sure that we're getting power down there too. Let me do just a tad bit of troubleshooting real quick. I bet you it's at ground, but we'll get right back into that in a second. Alright, let me run you guys through some stuff real quick. We got our ground. We're going to put this thing on volts here. Make sure you're on the right one now. Anyways, you're going to test your battery. I guess we'll start off with that. It's going to be at 13 volts DC. Okay. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to test this main lead here. It's going to be at 13. And then we're going to come down here and test the main on the starter. And it's hard to show with my phone. Hang on, let me see if I can. Anyways, you get the point. You can see it way down in there, hopefully. Looks like that little copper piece down there. See it? Anyways, we're at 13, so we got power all the way down there. But when you flip this over, you're going to test basically continuity or whatever. See how it beeps? Hear that? Anyways, you're going to look and see if this thing's got ground. Sorry for my hand. So, this is supposed to be a ground, and you can tell by the way that it is. You can see a G on it, or you could, and there's nothing to it. But if you come over here and you hit the side, you got ground all day long. So on the old one, let me pull it out real quick. I put it in the junk pile. What I think that they did is that prong was there. You see it? But it, focus now. It looks like they soldered it to the component to give it a ground. I'm not gonna solder it. I'm just gonna run a wire from probably here to here to give it that ground that it needs. Now you can probably solder it. I'm no wire expert or whatever. I'm just here doing a thing. So if you're anything like me, you're just out here piddling with stuff. I'm gonna use a small wire like this. Run probably. Let me look at this. So you have the male connector here. We're going to need a female connector, which is probably going to look something like this. And you're going to take one out, test fit this thing, come over here, stick it on there. Alright, it's not extremely difficult to put on there, but it's not loose either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this on a wire here, put it on there just like so, crimp it, and if you really wanted to, you can spoil this up like around one of those bolts right there and just zip it in. Or if you want to be fancy, you can get something like this and run the bolt or screw just straight through it. I think I want to do it that way, but it doesn't look like I have. Well, this might be the right size right here. We'll try it just for the sake of things. I feel like y'all would be very unhappy with me if I just spoiled this around it. So let me get through that and see what happens. If it smokes and catches on fire, I'll let you know. But hopefully not, right? So yeah, I'm gonna get to make this wire real quick. I'll show you what it looks like after I put it on. You guys probably get the picture. It doesn't have to be very long, probably 6 inches, right? That's what my wife tells me. Anyways, we're gonna get that done real quick. I'll be right back. We have a visitor again. You'll be careful of this guy. Psycho. Anyways, wire's done. It looks scary, but we got ground, and that's what the problem is. Here, watch, I'll show you. You ready? Here, test it. Yeah? Then you come over here. We got ground. So hopefully that'll do it. Let's go see if it catches on fire, I guess. We'll find out really soon. Either that or it's gonna turn over. Ready? Oh. It did something for 2 seconds. Let's go help it a little bit. Make sure it's not on fire. Are you on fire down there? No? Just doing your job. Okay. Alright, 1 second. I'm going to turn this a little bit by hand. Give that starter a little action. Nah, I'll just turn it a little bit, see if it helps it. If not, I'll just beat it with a hammer. I'll beat it with a hammer. Anyways, be right back. I give it the double action. I turned it over. Come down here and give it a little taparoo. I've already rebuilt the thing once, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I don't think this battery's under a very big load, but we'll test it anyways, just for some type of purpose, you know. Bring it out here again so we can see it. Maybe. We'll do it that way. Alright. Multimeter setup and everything. Let's see if that helps it. Key. It helped big time. Fuel. Key. Pedal for fuel. Key. Same thing. Alright, here we go. Don't fail me now, starter. Okay. Basically, that's what it was doing before. It would run for a second and die. So, I'm going to stick to the original plan here. We'll pull it and redo all that stuff. I don't really think that's the problem, but we'll do it just to make sure. It's hard to tell if anything's failing up here. This looks relatively the same. It's pretty warm though, but it looks the same. I wonder if there's some type of wiring ordeal going on. But let's see if this is warm. No, that's fine. We didn't lose any voltage, so that's cool. Still aren't charging. Sad. Coil isn't getting hot. That was a big thing that was going on last time. What we could be running into now, you can see that the accelerator pump's working. That means the bowl has fuel in it, because if the bowl didn't have fuel in it, see the bowls here, if the bowl didn't have fuel, the accelerator pump wouldn't work. So we have fuel in the bowl. It's not, it could be that this line is looped downward and it's not pulling, but I'm not sure. Have to do some looking into it. Anyways, we'll get to that after drill this weekend. So sometime next week, you guys should be seeing another video. I'm going to try to be putting these out more, alright? Because I already know I don't put them out enough, but just bad at videoing. I'm trying to think of what that can be. Maybe those plugs are fouled out again. It's just not wanting to keep doing what it's doing. What are you doing over there? This cat is doing something. Anyways, we'll get to that when we get to it next week sometime. Alright, for any of you that have been watching until this point, I do appreciate it. I put this stuff out there for a reason. I enjoy it, and I'm glad to see that some of y'all do. If there's anything that I could do differently, whether it be videoing or how often I put stuff out, I know one of you talked to me once already about putting stuff out more often. But if there's anything else I can do, just let me know. Feel free to tell me. And if you do like what I'm doing, feel free to tell me that too. If not, just like whatever you're gonna do. Tell me what I'm doing wrong that I can do differently. I'm open to all the, comments that you guys got, but that's about all I'm gonna have for today. Thank y'all. I know I said I was gonna cut it off before this, but the part came in and I said I might as well make it a little longer. I didn't feel like a short was good enough, you know what I mean? So I hope you guys enjoy this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.